The Community Television Consortium of Stark County presents this week's edition of What's Happening, the show about you, the people of Stark County. And now your host for tonight's program, Susie Vitale.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of What's Happening in Stark County. I'm Susie Vitale. Our first two guests this evening are Tom McGraw, who's the president, and Doug Perry, who's the vice president of the Stark County Veterans Memorial Committee. You're here to talk about building the memorial, so first of all, let's talk about where it's going to be built.
The memorial is to be built in Westbrook Veterans Memorial Park, which is a Canton City park right along I-77, across from the Temkin Stables and Temkin Mercy Medical Center. Being the county seat, it was a logical choice. Okay,
why is this being built? Does this have any history to it?
Yeah, it goes back to President McKinley before he was assassinated. Wanted to build a soldiers memorial here in Stark County to honor all probably Civil War veterans. But after his assassination, President Roosevelt then decided to put the McKinley Monument where he wanted the memorial to be placed for the soldiers memorial. So it has a little bit of history to it.
Okay, so McKinley's Monument's sitting where they intended it to be, so now it would be in Westbrook Park. Now, who is this going to be for? Is this for all branches of service?
Yes, so the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, and the Coast Guard, man and woman, wartime, peacetime, past, present, and future veterans. It's going to honor all veterans' service as long as they serve in the armed forces.
Okay, so is this for just the residents of Stark County? In other words, if you used to live here and you've moved away, or if you are from somewhere else and you've moved here, are you eligible to be part of this?
Anybody is eligible. In fact, we've got people who are non-veterans who are just buying a brick to honor veteran service and simply say, to honor vets and put their name on it just so they can become part of the memorial. We've got veterans who have moved here from out of state who consider themselves Stark Countyans. And a lot of Stark County people, including my brother, who's been gone for years, who bought a brick for the memorial. So you can be transplanted or original equipment. This is for everybody.
Okay, and it's a memorial, but it's for the living as well as the dead. You don't have to have died, in other words.
Right, I had a phone call today saying this for deceased veterans. I said it will honor them, excuse me, but it's going to be a living memorial for all veterans. That's what we're trying to get away from this war memorial aspect of it. So it's for everybody.
Now, do you want to talk about what it's going to look like? I think it's interesting, the generic outfit.
Well, it's going to be approximately, me and Doug was out there last week measuring off. It's approximately 175 foot long by 76 feet wide at the widest points. There's going to be 5 monoliths in there representing each branch of service with a flag behind it representing each branch of service. It's going to be a man and woman statues there by the flagpole looking up at the American flag. And we got about 7,200 bricks we're trying to sell, which are on the table here as part of our fundraiser.
Okay, now the man and woman that are standing by the flagpole, you told me before, are going to be dressed generically. And do you want to tell us why?
Yes, very much so. This is a memorial to honor everybody from the first veteran on into the future. And we had to be very careful because we didn't want to click into any certain era or conflict or war. So they're dressed in basic battle fatigue with no weaponry because we didn't want to identify any particular era, and weapons would have done that, and of course uniforms can do that.
Sure, everything from a musket to a missile. Okay, now let's talk about the bricks, because they're very important. You're using these as a fundraiser to try to fund this. So you want to tell us the difference between the two kind of bricks we have here.
Okay, on the big one, that's 8 by 8, 8-inch by 8-inch paving brick. That's a $1,000 brick or a $500 brick. Usually a big corporation like Timkins or somebody with a large family will purchase a brick like that there. And the most popular one is the 4-inch by 8-inch paving brick. And you get 3 lines on there, 13 characters per line. And you got to count the space as a character. People got to remember that there. If they have a little problem with the last name, go to the initial or use the first 2 lines, then go to the branch of service. And when they do order it, we'll send them their certificate of ownership in the mail. Be nice for Christmas or something like that there.
Okay, now you had said that most of these bricks have been purchased by women, and you want to explain that the veterans, a lot of them are too shy to buy themselves a brick?
I don't know if it's shyness or exactly what it is. I think a lot of vets just felt that they did what they had to do. They weren't looking to glorify it. I think a lot of vets who served in peacetime or who did not serve in combat roles during combat feel too often that they don't have a memorial, so they're not part of it. And that's why we're promoting the fact that this is a veterans memorial. It's not a war memorial. If you served this is for you.
Okay, we're almost out of time. If somebody wants more information on the bricks or the memorial, what number can they call?
They can call 452-2285, and we'll be glad to help them.
Okay, and this is going to be built across from the Stables restaurant. You've got a big sign there, so if somebody forgets, they can go over there and get your phone number off that.
Right.
Okay, thanks for coming this evening.
Thank you.
Next up, we've got Bob Cerny. Stay with us. Our next guest is Captain Robert Cerny, who's the Bureau Chief at the Canton Fire Prevention Bureau. And we're here to talk about fire safety since it's Christmas time. Now, we wanted to talk first of all about equipment checks. And I was cleaning out my closet this fall and discovered that my fire extinguisher was completely red. I thought these things were like cans of hairspray, that they just stayed good forever. Who knew? So you need to really check these. These do run out of gas.
Yeah, on the contrary, they don't last forever. Once they're purchased, they're not good forever. And they actually should be checked once a year.
Okay.
And you can have them annually recharged by any one of the safety companies that are in the city.
Okay, so they need to check their fire extinguishers. What else?
One of the things to definitely make sure that your smoke detector is working. 20% of the fires happen right around the holiday times.
Wow.
And it's a good idea to have a fire escape plan, home escape plan, and review that with your family.
Okay, and I've heard too that once you're outside, you should have a meeting place so that somebody doesn't go back in the house looking for somebody that's out already.
Yeah, that's definitely, you should have a common meeting place and accountability for everybody in the family. And one thing, do not return once you're out.
Okay. Now, a lot of people want to build a roaring fire in the fireplace this time of year, so what do you check when you're building fires?
One of the things you want to do is have your fireplace, especially if you burn a lot of wood, is to have it annually checked. And that's another thing that you can find in the Yellow Pages. You can have a chimney sweep come out and clean your chimney once a year. And one of the things is you don't want to burn green wood. You want to burn well-seasoned wood, preferably any of the oak or the nut trees. Like I say, have it regularly cleaned once a year.
And it really doesn't make that much of a mess either.
No, they're very professional. Most chimney sweeps, you won't even know they were.
Okay, now we were decorating this little tree here when you got here with our lights. So you want to tell us about Christmas lights. When people start decorating their Christmas tree, what do they need to look for if they go out and buy lights?
Well, one of the things you want to look for, and I hope these are.
Sure, they are. I checked.
They're UL listed, and or any listing, reputable listing company, could be Factory Mutual or whatever. But you want to use indoor lights for indoor and outdoor lights for outdoor. And one of the things before you put them up, a lot of people put them away and forget about them, bring them back out at Christmas time. You have to check for fraying and to make sure that there's no cracked or broken wires. And after the holiday season, it's a good idea to take your lights and store them. But you don't want to store them in the attic, contrary to everybody puts them up in the attic.
Most people do.
I had put them in the attic for years until I had read that your attic tends to get about 120 degrees, which causes the plasticizers in the rubber to evaporate out of the cord. And then when you unwind them, they crack and fray, which could cause fire on your home or electrocution.
Okay, is there any special care people should take with their tree?
A live tree, you want to keep it well watered. Try to buy it as fresh as possible. A lot of times, if you can't get out to a nursery and cut it yourself, it's best to shake the tree, and if any needles fall off, or tug on the needles and any needles break loose from the tree, it's been cut, it's a pretty old tree, and you want to try to avoid that. And then once you bring the tree home, cut about 2 inches off and water it. And by cutting the 2 inches, the tree will absorb water faster and at a greater rate.
Okay. Now, a lot of people go to candlelight church services on Christmas Eve. Do you have any any advice for people going to the silent night with a candle?
One of the things that they should watch for is to try and the juveniles, youngsters that are 8 and 6 and 7, and the toddler age too, try to avoid giving them candles. They tend to be a little bit rambunctious, and they'll turn and they can spill the hot wax on themselves, injure themselves that way, or possibly set someone's clothing on fire.
Okay, we've only got about 30 seconds left,
Okay.
but what did you want to mention too about candles and pets? Because I thought that was really important.
Oh, do not leave them unattended.
Okay, because of the wagging tail goes by, or cats.
Yeah, definitely. If you're going to burn open candles, you don't want to leave them unattended in the house due to the fact that children can knock them over, or a pet, a cat, a dog can knock them over and start fires.
Okay, if somebody wants to call you and ask you a question, what's the phone number they'd call?
They can call me at any time between 7 and 5 weekdays at 489-3400.
Okay, thanks for coming this evening.
Glad to be here.
Next up, we'll be talking to the McKinley Museum, who is also setting up their own fire station. Stay with us. Our next guest is our good friend Joyce Yutt, who's here from the McKinley Museum, where she is now the director. And there are so many things now going on that we probably won't get through our whole list here. But Bob Cerny was saying that they had donated, the Canton City Fire Department had donated a pumper to you some time ago. So do you want to tell us about the fire station?
Yes, we're going to start construction of a new fire station in January, and it's going to have a second story so that we're going to be able to put in a brass pole for people to slide down. And there'll be lots of artifacts that we've collected over the years.
Okay. Now, you're moving the trains, I believe?
Yes, to make room for the firehouse, we need to turn the trains. So they are going to turn 90 degrees, and there's going to be 4 extra foot added.
Oh, great.
So we're busy getting ready to do that, and it's going to take 8 or 10 of our volunteer trainmen to turn the trains.
Wow. But they'll still be there, though.
Oh, yes,
for all
they'll be
those
there.
train fans. Okay, now, you also have added a new feature that you're doing birthday parties.
Right.
So do you want to tell us about the birthday parties?
Yes, we've started to have birthday parties on Saturday and Sunday, and they are theme parties, and it includes everything from the invitations to the thank you notes, so that the parents just have to arrive, and we provide the cake and the punch, and there's different themes, and there are different prices, and there's different games, and they go to Discover World. So it's a real fun event and really nice for Mom and Dad.
It's really nice. If anyone's ever had a children's birthday party at your house, this is wonderful. Okay, now another thing that you do are the camp-ins.
Right. During the winter season, on Friday night, we have groups that come, and they have a snack, and they sleep with the dinosaurs, and then they get up Saturday morning and have breakfast, and they get to have some classes Friday evening. So it's really nice. And small groups can be put together with other small groups to make a large group. So it doesn't have to be a king-size group.
So they really get to stay overnight with those dinosaurs.
Sleep with the dinosaurs and buy a T-shirt that says, "I slept with the dinosaurs."
Now, this is the Christmas season, and this is when it gets the very most beautiful there. So do you want to talk about the display that takes you so long to put up?
Yes, we have over 30 trees that are decorated, and the entire museum has something. Our Allosaurus even wears a Santa hat.
All right.
So there are just lots of things everywhere, and wreaths everywhere, and the lights are soft up in the street, and it's just very festive.
Okay.
Nice place to come.
It's a really nice place to come and bring your family and really get in the Christmas spirit.
And out-of-town guests.
Now, do you have some special display? It's a homecoming or something?
Yes, it is a room setting from 1945, and they did a wonderful job. It makes you realize what it was like back then, for those of us who remember. And the furniture and the tree decorations, and they even have old newspapers and magazines, and a tin of tobacco and an ashtray, all those things that we don't have too much anymore. Yes, an old radio.
And while you're on the second floor, you can go back and see the animated figures?
Yes, they are right behind, yes.
Okay, and
there's a lovely Victorian tree in the McKinley room.
You forget that they're not real, too. They look very lifelike. Okay, and there's also the museum shop?
A milliner shop.
Okay.
It's part of the street. It just opened last week, and it's a female attraction to the street now, because there seems to be so many things for men, but we now have hats and umbrellas and jewelry, and it's very pretty.
Are these antique? Now, these aren't for sale.
No.
These are just a display.
That's right. Just exhibits from the collection.
Okay, if someone wants some unique gifts, however, there is a museum gift shop.
Correct, and it's stocked for the holidays with gifts for everyone, yes. And it's open regular museum hours, 9 to 5.
If somebody wants to shop in the gift shop but not tour or pay the admission, are they allowed to come in and go down to the gift shop?
Absolutely, yes. They just stop at the front window and say they're going to the museum shop, and there's no charge.
You have some really unique things there, too, that you're not going to find anywhere else.
That's correct.
Okay, you have the Myers Lake tapes. I know you have
Yes,
those
we have
there.
the Myers Lake tapes, and we have a brand new atlas from 1875, an illustrated atlas that's for sale. It's just been there for a few days.
Okay.
Going very well.
Okay, and speaking of books, there's finally, which is really
Yes.
great, a book being written?
Yes, a book has been written by Richard McElroy. It has over 500 photographs, and it's called William McKinley and Our America. It's a pictorial history. It's a very lovely book. We expect it to be ready in early January.
Oh, okay, so by the first of the year,
Yes.
you'll have to come back and bring the book and show it to us. You have a lot of information in your library and photographs,
Right.
and it's about time
Yes,
that
we
it was
put them all
assembled.
together. And some things have not been seen before. And it's a part of our 50th anniversary for next year that we're going to be celebrating. So this is the first item is this book.
Okay, if somebody wants to get information on any of this plethora, plus you have classes too.
Right,
Rose
education.
will be coming to talk about
Yes.
classes, all kinds of making things and children's classes, adult classes. If anybody wants a brochure or more information on any of these things, what are the museum hours and what's the phone number that they could call?
We are open Monday through Saturday from 9 to 5 and Sunday noon to 5.
Okay.
And the phone number is 455-7043.
Okay, and chances are anybody that answered the phone could give you the correct information.
Correct, or direct you to the right department.
Okay, thanks for coming this evening, Joyce.
Thank
and
you.
Congratulations on being the new director.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Inventor Place. Stay with us. We've been talking about exciting places to go, and our next guest is Anita Wilson from Inventor Place, okay, where you are the Education Outreach Coordinator.
That's right.
Okay, first of all, let's explain what Inventor, not Adventure, but Inventor Place. What is an Inventor Place?
We're located in Akron, and we're the home of the Inventors Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And the Inventors Hall of Fame used to be housed in Washington, D.C. in the patent office. They finally decided that they wanted to let everybody know about the inventors that were inducted, so they said we need to find a home. And that's when Akron decided to create a center for creativity and invention and a whole museum to house the Inventors Hall of Fame.
Okay, now what's it like if you go there to visit?
We have 5 tiers, which are balconies that hang over the main floor. Those are the Inventors Hall of Fame, and there's 120 inductees, and each one of their stories is told up there on the tiers. And then on the bottom floor is where we have our hands-on exhibits area, and that's really neat. That's where the kids can't wait to get
I've heard good things.
to get downstairs. But I have seen babies under a year-old play down there, and I have seen people 97 years old, Walter Seaman, one of our inductees, playing downstairs. So it's one of those ageless kind of places. In fact, there's a big sign that says, this is a place to mess around.
Okay, now even though this is what's happening in Stark County, Summit County, Akron isn't that far to drive, but there's also a reason that we had you on, and that's because of your education outreach. So do you want to explain what that is?
I'm the coordinator of a new program, and it's called Invention Extension. And this year's program is called the Magnificent Motion Machine.
Okay.
And that's why I have the clapper here
okay.
with me. The challenge to the students is to build a Rube Goldberg machine or a motion machine that transfers energy across a linear space, and they can do it any way they want. It should be creative, it should be complicated and noisy.
Okay, noisy's good. Now, you don't just show up at the school and do a little Mr. Wizard demonstration. You really prepare this. So do you want to explain what you do with the teachers to prepare them?
Okay, because we are a center for creativity and invention, we want to inspire the inventive and creative spirit in everybody.
Okay.
And so what we've done is to address the new science standards, which are hands-on problem solving, team building, discovery type science. We have found that we can't go to school and just simply do a demonstration assembly type thing. So what we've done is we've written a teacher's manual, And in this is all the nuts and bolts of how our program works, because it's a joint effort with us and the teachers at the school to prepare the students for this challenge. So once the teachers learn all the nuts and bolts of how the program works, they can take this back to their school, and then they can decide how they want to incorporate this program. It's geared toward 3rd through 8th grade, but we've written some primary activities and some other type of activities, so everybody in the school can participate in the program.
If they can fit in the gym.
Right, if they can fit in the gym. Because what it is, the children build these giant motion machines, and it looks like a giant spider on the gym floor. Our boom machine is in the middle, and then there's legs, 12 legs going out around the boom machine. And once the students have made these motion machines, they're all connected. Everybody's 5-foot space is connected with one of these clappers, and then we have about a half-hour assembly, and then the grand finale. And that's when all the motion starts coming in from the outside and eventually detonates our boom machine.
What happens?
Well, that's sort of a secret, but we're all laughing. We call it a janitor's nightmare. Confetti, ping pong balls.
Great. Now, there is a charge for coming to the school because there's so much time put into this. So do you want to discuss that real briefly?
Right. It's $600. We looked at what the other museums in the area were doing, and we found that $600 was a good price, and it helps cover our costs. Fortunately, we have a couple of grants. Some Akron foundations are sponsoring us. And that covers the teacher training, that gives them the clappers that they borrow to use at their school, and it also provides up to 2 assemblies a day at their school, because like you said, if you can fit everybody in the gym. Sometimes we'll do an assembly for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and then the 6th, 7th, and 8th come in the afternoon, and everybody sets up their machines, and we start all over again.
Now, we've only got about 30 seconds left, but you do have sort of an inspiring part of where you sort of explain about, like, Thomas Edison, for example.
Right, because we have 120 inductees, we've spotlighted them during the assembly, because a lot of the schools that are having our outreach program are also coming up to Adventure Place for field trips. So we want to prepare them a little bit and let them know some of the neat stories about the different inventors.
Well, that's really great. Now, if a parent's watching and they want their principal to get more information, or if a principal's watching or a teacher, who would they call, and what would be the phone number if they wanted more information?
They should call me, Anita Wilson, and my number is 849-6925. And if I'm not there, I have my voicemail, and there's 7 of us in the education department, so we keep pretty good care of each other.
Okay, and this is Adventure Place. Thanks for coming this evening.
Thanks.
Next up, we have Pat Perkins with the calendar of events. Stay with us. Next up is Pat Perkins with the calendar of events. Pat?
Thank you, Susie. The Video Camera Club has its regular meeting the 3rd Wednesday of each month, starting at 7 o'clock. Meetings are held at the Market Heights Community Church, located at 3129 North Market Avenue in Canton. The club is open to anyone who's interested in audio or video. Dues are $8. Please plan to attend and bring a friend. For more information, you can call them at 494-1266. To volunteer or receive information about Stark County's free adult services, you can call in the Alliance area 823-0560, in the Canton area 456-9590, and in the Massillon area 830-1836. The Stark County Veterans Memorial Committee would like to ask all Stark County veterans, past, present, and future, man or woman, whether you served during war or peace, to help out in the construction of the Stark County Veterans Memorial to be built in the Westbrook Veterans Memorial Park in Canton, Ohio. Financial donations are accepted, or you may purchase a brick with a veteran's name on it, or a non-veteran can help out by honoring one of those who has served by purchasing a brick. For more information from them, you can call them at 452-2285. The Hartville chapter of the American Association of Retired Persons is sponsoring the following trips in the beginning of 1996. On January 17th, they're going to Disney on Ice at the Gund Arena. On February 23rd through March 1st, they're going to Florida and on a cruise. And on April 20th, they're going to hear the Oak Ridge Boys in Wheeling. For more information, you can call them at 877-9431. Don't miss going past Malone College because they have their Christmas lights on now, and they will be on through the beginning of the year. So when you're out driving, swing by Malone College. And the National Library of Poetry has just announced that $24,000 in prizes will be awarded over the next 12 months in the North American Open Amateur Poetry Contest. The deadline for entry for the contest for this year is December 31st, but they have another contest beginning on January 1st. The contest is open to anyone and the entry is free. For information on this or to send them your poem, write to the National Library of Poetry, Post Office Box 704-7233, Owings Mills, Maryland, and the zip is 21117. The Community Television Consortium of Stark County has volunteer opportunities for anyone interested in television production or broadcasting. Areas are available for trainees including public relations, marketing, script writing, camera and technical work, timekeeping, and floor manager. All you need is a desire to learn while helping our Stark County nonprofit health, cultural, and educational organizations. For more information or to help us out, give us a call at 493-8925. And if you would like to have your nonprofit club's announcements on this program or appear on What's Happening, you can write to the Community Television Consortium, Post Office Box 8335, Canton, Ohio. That zip is 44711. Or you can call us again at 493-8925. What's Happening airs on Warner Cable, Channel 11 on Tuesdays at 6 o'clock and on Thursdays at 6:30. And we air on Masson Cable, Channel 50 on Thursdays at 7:30.
Thanks, Pat. That wraps up another edition of What's Happening in Stark County. From all of us here at the CTC, we wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us.